The Earth's early atmosphere had no oxygen. By examining rocks laid down over Earth history, we can piece together the story of our atmosphere to the present day where mankind has polluted the atmosphere. 4.5 billion years ago, the atmosphere probably was made mostly of nitrogen, with some carbon dioxide, water vapor, and hydrogen compounds, such as methane and ammonia. Within 800 million years, life evolved in the oceans. 3.2 billion years ago, photosynthesis had evolved with the first oxygen-producing cyanobacteria, similar to today's blue-green algae. At first, the oxygen given off simply reacted with the rocks, but gradually it built up in the oceans and started to bubble out into the atmosphere. To start with, it was a toxic gas harmful to life, but soon life evolved to make use of the oxygen through aerobic respiration. By 2 billion years ago, about halfway through Earth's history, there was oxygen in the atmosphere. Without oxygen, there was no ozone layer in the atmosphere, so UV light from the sun rained down on the land, making it impossible for life to exist except underwater, where the UV could not reach. Moving to the land was difficult for plants, which relied on the water to support them, and it was not until about 400 million years ago that life learned to live on land. The atmosphere remained much the same until the present day, mostly nitrogen with 21% oxygen and just enough carbon dioxide to give plants their carbon during photosynthesis. About 100 years ago, mankind started to change the atmosphere. We found seams of coal and pockets of oil and natural gas underground, extracting them and reacting them with the oxygen in the atmosphere, increasing carbon dioxide concentration. Nowadays, every individual is facing problems caused by air pollution. Air pollution occurs when gases, smoke, dust, or other gets into the air and make it dirty. It's very harmful for humans, animals, and plants. There are many causes for air pollution. Sometimes, air gets polluted due to eruptions of volcanoes, dust storms, and wildfires. It can be from factories, power plants, vehicles, chemicals, airplanes, fumes from spray cans, and methane gas from landfills causes air pollution. When humans burn fossil fuels, it releases a lot of gases into the air, causing air pollution. Let's see the effects of air pollution one by one. Effects on human air pollution causes headaches, dizziness, the nasal irritation, lung diseases, and more.
Which substances pollutes air? The carbon dioxide, sulfur dioxide, nitrogen dioxide, and carbon monoxide. These are often released by the engine of vehicles like trucks and buses. Sometimes they came from natural resources like smoke and dust, arising from forest fire or volcanic eruptions. These gases can make healthy people sick, and sick people even worse. They affect your eyes and throat, and in some cases they can permanently damage your lungs and even cause cancer. Have you heard about smog? Smog is made up of smoke and fog. Smoke generally contains oxide of nitrogen and other air pollutants. The smoke causes breathing difficulties such as asthma, cough, and sneezing in children.
Global warming is the gradual increase in the overall temperature of the Earth's atmosphere, generally attributed to the greenhouse effect caused by increased levels of carbon dioxide, chlorofluorocarbons, and other pollutants. Carbon dioxide. Carbon dioxide is released through natural processes such as respiration and volcano eruptions, and through human activities such as deforestation, land use changes, and burning of fossil fuels. Humans have increased atmospheric CO2 concentration by more than a third since the Industrial Revolution began, wherein factories and industrial buildings were made. Water vapor, the most abundant greenhouse gas, it increases as the Earth's atmosphere warms, but so does the possibility of clouds and precipitation, making this some of the most important feedback mechanisms to the greenhouse effect. Methane, a hydrocarbon gas produced both through natural sources and human activities, including the decomposition of waste in landfills, agriculture, and especially rice cultivation, as well as ruminant digestion and manure management associated with domestic livestock. Methane is a far more active greenhouse gas than carbon dioxide, but also one which is much less abundant in the atmosphere. Nitrous oxide, a powerful greenhouse gas produced by soil cultivation practices, especially the use of commercial and organic fertilizers, fossil fuel combustion, nitric acid production, and biomass burning. Chlorofluorocarbons, synthetic compounds entirely of industrial origin used in a number of applications, but now largely regulated in production and released to the atmosphere by international agreement for their ability to contribute to destruction of the ozone layer. They are also greenhouse gases.
The chemistry of water. Water is a chemical compound consisting of 2 hydrogen atoms and 1 oxygen atom. The name water typically refers to the liquid state of the compound. The solid phase is known as the gas ice phase and is called steam. Under certain conditions, water also forms a supercritical. There are 7 chemical characteristics of the water: total solids and suspended solids, pH value of water, hardness of water, chloride content, nitrogen content, metal and other chemical substances in the water, and 7 is the dissolved gases. There are different types of water. Number 1 is the tap water. Number 2 is the mineral water. Number 3 is the spring water. 4 is the well water. 5th is the purified water. 6 is the distilled water. And 7 is the sparkling water. Water quality standards, the foundation of the water quality-based control program mandated by the Clean Water Act. What makes the water quality standard? Designated uses, water quality criteria, and anti-degradation, and for these general policies.
The following are the general categories of water contaminants and example of each.
Physical contaminants. Physical contaminants primarily impact the physical appearance of other physical properties of water. Example of physical contaminants are sediments or organic materials suspended in water of lakes, rivers, and streams from soil erosion. Chemical contaminants. Chemical contaminants are elements or compounds. These contaminants may be naturally occurring or man-made. Example of chemical contaminants include nitrogen, bleach, salts, pesticides, metals, toxins produced by bacteria, and human or animal drugs. Microbiological contaminants. Microbiological contaminants are organisms in water. They are also referred to as microbes. Example of microbiological contaminants include bacteria, viruses, protozoa, and parasites. Health is one of the most important aspects of one's life, and without it, people will not be able to survive and live long. The World Health Organization estimated that up to 80% of all sickness and diseases in the world are caused by inadequate sanitation, polluted water, or unavailability of water. Thus, water sanitation and health corresponded to each other, wherein the water sanitation practices could affect one's health. The effects of water contamination are far-reaching. Our ecosystem is affected on every level by water contamination. Not only do we have to worry about unhealthy particles reaching our drinking water, but also the crabs, animals, and other oceans are greatly harmed by this. The main problem caused by water contaminants is that it kills organisms that depends on these water bodies. Dead fish, crabs, birds, and seagulls, dolphins, and many other animals often wind up on beach, killed by pollutant in their habitat.
Water treatment. A water treatment plant has the following major units: storage and sedimentation basins. Raw water from the river or canal is stored in 2 or more dredge water to coagulate the finer suspended particle, including microorganisms. Clarifier. Clarifier, the diluted particles settle down to the bottom by sedimentation. The most common method of disinfection at waterworks in India is chlorination. For chlorine gas or bleaching powder is used to kill bacteria